Hello everyone, this is Mechagodzilla, and today I'm back with another video, this time for Godzilla vs. Kong, and we have some brand new novelization details for the movie. Last time we talked about Ren Serizawa potentially alive. We also went into his character background a little bit, and if you want to see that video, check the annotation above. This time we're talking about Alan Jonah, the eco-terrorist from Godzilla King of the Monsters, which, as we saw in the end credits, had a Ghidorah head. And he was not even mentioned in GVK, which seemed a little bit odd. But in the novelization, we do have some more of him, which is pretty cool. So anyway, let us begin. I do want to give out some background information first off, because some of this will not make any sense if I do not mention the following. So first off, this takes place in Pensacola, Florida, in the Apex facility there, or at least the Apex office there, I guess. And prior to this encounter, Walter Simmons and Apex were able to capture a Titan by the name of Nakika, which is the Kraken Titan. And there was a lot of backlash from environmentalist groups, and Nakika was actually able to call on Godzilla. Godzilla came in and was able to free Nakika from Apex's little capture there. So that is basically what has happened, and there's essentially a lot of environmentalist groups that are, I guess, protesting outside of Walter Simmons' office. So anyway, now let's get on to the actual scene itself. So, I'm impressed, the man said, once he was in Walter Simmons' office and the door was closed. I didn't think you would meet with me in person. The man didn't look impressed. He looked hard, his dark eyes cold. The wrinkles on his face had not gotten there from smiling or laughing. Not a pleasant fellow, surely, but he was here to do business, and Simmons understood business. Why wouldn't I? Simmons said. I have no reason to suspect you mean me harm, and if you do, my security detail is, I assure you, very efficient. May I get you something to drink? No thank you, the man said. Simmons stood and walked over to the window of his Pensacola office, turning his back on his guest. The view isn't as nice as that from my Hong Kong office, he said. Yet, I find it pleasing. Have you been here before? Seen the local sights? I haven't much use for local sights, the man said. I've seen about as much as I want to, over the years. That's too bad. Wait, what the hell is that? There was a ship in the docks, drawn up right behind one of his, with a bunch of people, half of them in tie-dye, lined up at the rails. And now that he was looking, there was a bunch of them on land too, with signs and banners. I should say those are environmental crusaders, the man said. I passed through them coming in. These guys, Simmons muttered, a thorn in my side. Then he brightens. Well, not so much a thorn as a little stitch, or maybe a mosquito bite. You didn't come here with them, did you? God, no. They're a bit feeble for my taste. So, I understand, and speaking of that, you are really the one at risk coming here, aren't you? Wanted by Interpol and at least 20 governments? I'm not counting anymore, the man said. But as you say, I am, let us say, outside of my comfort zone. Can we get down to it? Of course, Simmons said. What do you have to offer me? I know something of your history, but I must warn you, I have my own sources for the sort of things you deal in. You don't have a source for this, the dangerous man said. He laid what looked like a photograph on the table. Seriously? Simmons said. Is that an instant camera picture? You contacted me on the dark web, and then you showed up in person with a cheap photo? Why didn't you just draw it out on a clay tablet? The man didn't answer. Simmons reached for the photograph and turned it over. He picked it up and held it closer. Is this really what I think it is? He said. Yes, the man said. It is. Simmons sat down, still staring at the image, and he knew. He could see the circuits in his head already, or some of them anyway. It was the missing piece, or a missing piece. Astonishing, he said. And yet, what would I do with such a thing? Don't play games, the man spoke quietly, without apparent emotion. The hiss of a viper. Well, Simmons said, it would be better if I had two, the man said. Now that you mention it, I have two. What? Simmons said. Not all three? Just the two, the man said. And for this you want money. A lot of money. Really. I should think a man like you. You don't know what a man like me is, the man said. You would never know. He pulled a bit of paper from his shirt pocket. The money goes to these 3 accounts, he said. I have to hear your price first, Simmons told him. You don't actually, the man said. Send the money. If it is enough, I will deliver. If not, I have other options. No, hang on, Simmons said. But the man stood up, took the photograph, and left the office. Simmons watched him go, following his progress out the security cameras. Then he took out his phone and tapped the number. "Yes," he said, when he got an answer. "I need you to see how much money we can come up with. Completely off the books, you understand?" He stood and went to the window as he listened to the reply. He looked out at the ship and the protesters. "No," he said. "That's not enough. Yes, I understand you may have to liquidate some of those offshore accounts. That's fine. What do I pay you for?" "That's right. Just do it." He paused. "And another thing. I'm going to set up a press conference downstairs in about half an hour. I'll be cutting a handsome donation to whatever organization is out there protesting. It might not shut them up, but it will make them look bad." "Yes, of course. We're reporting that one. Don't get those two things confused." "Right." He touched the phone off and looked back at the window. "Environmentalists," he muttered under his breath. So there is that. That is all of Alan Jonah. And yeah, it doesn't really say Alan Jonah walked to Walter Simmons' office, but this is clearly Alan Jonah. And I also like how this man, Alan Jonah, is kind of a badass, actually. Like, despite facing a super influential figure like Simmons, and Simmons obviously is very egocentric, Alan Jonah is still pretty much the one on top here. He's the one giving out the rules to Simmons, which is actually pretty damn impressive. That's kind of cool in my opinion. Kind of shows why Alan Jonah is a pretty cool character in my opinion. But anyway, the most interesting aspect of all this is that Alan Jonah, he does not have just one head, which we saw in the end credits. He has two Ghidorah heads. So where did the second one come from? I mean, we did know there was two heads in the movie, as Bernie does indeed say that. He does say how Ren Serizawa is in one skull and that the other one is in that thing, referring to Mechagodzilla. So that is how that psionic telepathic link is created in the first place. But where exactly did that second skull come from? That is a huge mystery. We obviously know there was an end credits one. That's one skull. Cool. But the second one, who knows really? Ghidorah's heads were completely vaporized in not only Godzilla's nuclear pulse attack in Boston, but the very last head also was pulverized as well. So those three heads were completely annihilated to smithereens. So it cannot be those heads. So where did the second head come from? That's a complete mystery. It really doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It is potentially possible Alan Jonah maybe cloned it or something, or maybe there was an off-screen time when Ghidorah lost another head for some reason. I don't know. But I think the most logical approach maybe is that Alan Jonah cloned it maybe. I don't know. That's really the only thing I can think of that actually makes canonical sense and actually does not contradict what Godzilla King of the Monsters shows. I'm not really sure what else it could be, to be honest. And if he did clone it, what does that mean really? Maybe Alan Jonah knew that Simmons was indeed working on a Mechagodzilla. I mean, after all, why did Alan Jonah talk to Walter Simmons of all people? Someone who's a complete contrarian to his beliefs. Alan Jonah believes the Titans should rule the world and that humanity should go extinct, while Walter Simmons thinks the exact opposite, that the Titans should basically just go away and that humans should be the apex predator and the alpha. So that's a little weird. Why are these two completely contrarian people talking with each other and negotiating? Maybe Alan Jonah is just looking for the money. Hey, I want some money. Walter Simmons is like a super rich billionaire. I know he's making Mechagodzilla, so why not just give him the skulls? I get some money, a ton of it. That's it. Boom. And also, Walter Simmons is a very influential person, right? So maybe Walter Simmons can try and help Alan Jonah in not getting captured. It is in Simmons' best interest to not have Alan Jonah captured, because if Alan Jonah is caught, then he could completely spill the beans about him literally interacting with Simmons. That would not be good for Apex and Simmons. So maybe that was also a partial reason why Jonah talked to Simmons. But maybe there's another theory out there that potentially Alan Jonah knew Mechagodzilla was a thing, and he planned out, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna give him these skulls, and I'm gonna clone a skull, give it to him, but purposefully, I'm gonna make the skull a faulty one for some reason. That way, Mechagodzilla annihilates humanity. So Alan Jonah purposefully is making Mechagodzilla go haywire so that it fits his best interest of having humanity go extinct, which could allow for the Titans, the other Titans, to come in and rule the world. Could be that too. I don't know. It's a little bit far-fetched, but really, I don't know what else it could be other than that and the money scenario I told you guys about. So just very intriguing, to say the least. And hopefully we do see more of Alan Jonah in the future, which I think we will see more of him, assuming the MonsterVerse continues. I mean, that is clearly something they could explore very, very easily. So, I guess we'll see. I wonder if Apex will ever return again. I don't really think so. I mean, Mechagodzilla annihilated Hong Kong, essentially, so I don't think that will look good for Apex. Walter Simmons got completely annihilated. There's the whole Ghidorah skull fiasco. I guess Apex is done for, but Alan Jonah, he could continue doing his shenanigans, right? So, I guess we'll see. So that is all for this video. Please tell me in the comments below what are your thoughts on Alan Jonah and the two heads. Where did the second head come from? And why did he deal with Walter Simmons of all people? Did he purposefully plan out Mechagodzilla going haywire so that it fits his interest of having humanity go extinct? Tell me in the comments below your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe, like, and comments. This is Mechagodzilla, signing out.